The president thinks that there is an extremist threat to our democracy. The way that he sees is the MAGA Republicans are the most energized part of the Republican Party. This is an extreme threat to our democracy, to our freedom, to our rights. They just don't respect the rule of law. You've heard that from the president, they are pursuing an agenda that takes away people's rights.
Well, despite his campaign and inaugural pledge to unify the nation, the White House making President Biden's take on Trump voters very clear, labeling MAGA Republicans as a threat to democracy.
Yeah, they don't believe in the rule of law, really? House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy joins us now. I'm stunned by this approach. I'm stunned by trying to marginalize people and say every one of the people that considers himself a MAGA Republican was supporting of January 6th and riots. Is that what they're trying to do?
He's trying to distract from his disasters that he's created in this country. The problem with Joe Biden is he does not understand the soul of America. The tens of millions of hardworking, law-abiding citizens that he vilifies that simply want to have a say in their kids' education, to go to a school board meeting, want a gasoline price that they can afford, no longer wants inflation to continue to rise, afraid to go out in their streets to be safe again. They want a stronger, safer, more prosperous America, and all he does is vilify them to distract from the disasters and no plan he has to save America from where we are today.
Well, and Congressman McCarthy, what we have heard from strategists aligned with the White House is what they're doing from now till the November elections is they're going to say that Republicans are extremists. Republicans in Congress, guys like you. Republicans are extremists, whereas Democrats like Joe Biden delivered. And when you look at the stuff Joe Biden has done over the last couple of months, he's actually gotten some wins, and that's what they're running on.
I don't know. I'd ask a simple question to every American. Could you afford to give up 1 month's salary? I believe most people would say no, but that's exactly what Joe Biden's administration's taken from you. 1 month's salary is 8.3% of your year, but inflation is higher. You're paying 60% higher in gasoline. Every time you go to the store, it costs more. Crime is at its highest level it's been in 20 years. We've got a border that's unsecure. Now 100,000 Americans die. The #1 cause of Americans' death between the ages of 18 and 45 is fentanyl, because what he has done with this border. We've watched him take a DOJ, a Department of Justice, and go after parents and call them terrorists simply because they go to a school board meeting. We've now watched our scores for our children in math and reading drop because he's closed our schools. I don't think those people are bad people who want a more prosperous and safer America. Look, I want an economy that's stronger. I want a nation that's safe. I want a country that's built upon freedom, and I want a government that's held accountable. I will sustain that belief more so than what Biden has put forth, with no plan to solve what we have going forward.
What is going on in California? Because not only inflation,
your state,
but you also have, exactly, an excessive heat wave. So you're being told don't charge your electric cars during certain periods. Set your thermostat at 78 degrees or higher. Avoid using large appliances. Turn off unnecessary lights. Passing a ban on future your state passed a future ban on gas-powered cars by 2035. Then you have University of California, Berkeley. If you hadn't had a flu shot, you got to wear a mask. Then you have McDonald's boss penning an open letter because he's saying this is not fair to the restaurant industry because there's a bill in California waiting for the governor's signature that could raise wages for fast food workers up to $22 an hour. What in the world?
It's one-party rule, the Democrats. It's interesting that more people are leaving California than coming to California. But this is all the policies of Democrats. Remember what Gavin Newsom has done. He's gone after the energy production in California, so he decreased the production of 20%, but he adds to that by paying Putin for 50,000 barrels a day. He outlaws a combustion engine, but then tells you in the same week that you can't charge your electric car.
Yeah, right.
He makes mandates about renewable energy, so now we pay 40% higher, but he can't even deliver it. At the very beginning when you talked, it sounded a lot like Jimmy Carter's malaise speech, putting a sweater on, telling us to turn the heater down, that the best days of California were behind us. Well, that's the exact same policies we're getting out of Congress and this White House. That's why we've got to change the direction. We're 68 days away. We need people to join with us, to go to takethehouse.com, because this is a battle. No one gives you a majority. You have to earn it. But we look what's happening in California. That's going to go across this nation if we don't stop Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi.
Congressman McCarthy, best of luck. We'll see you're a minority leader. In a couple of months, we'll find out if you are the next speaker. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.